here's kind of my purpose. Into Deacon,
I mean, I moved her.
thereby causing the remainder of the property to be capable of its an economic, big picture.
Yes.
Now, I say that, I'm gonna be probably instantly accused of just concerned about economics. If in the
It all works
framework,
together.
in the framework of the LDFA, this is our charter.
Yes.
All that other stuff, what we
Like, you
do,
guys shut down through the 4th, or
we can,
No, we're busier than ever.
we can talk about the nuts and bolts of that, but
Last
it
7 weeks.
does what
anything
we're
going
doing
on in the
fits.
world?
Saudi
And I-
Arabia
you
put
know,
out a $330 million
Super
bid
fun,
package.
bad. No super fun,
It's like
good.
10
We
years.
don't wanna be on that list.
You guys do business, do you do business with Gutter?
As soon as you're done with that.
Cutter, yeah.
Yeah, I see they're, easier today, they're meeting with Trump, so you could probably get another one queued up.
All right, let's get
Oh,
started.
sorry,
guys.
Matthew.
Roll call. Caitlin, if you could start us out, please.
Schichtel,
Here.
Warner,
Here?
Tenza,
Here,
Theobald,
Here.
Brown, Hamner,
Here.
Solomon, Pesha, Johnson, Swiger.
here.
All right, thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Section 2, approval of the agenda. Some support for that, please.
Motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll support.
Warner,
Yes.
Tenza,
Yes,
Theobald,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hamner,
Yes.
Solomon, Pesha, Johnson, Swiger,
Yes.
Schichtel.
Yes. Okay, section 4, public comments. This is a session with no open dialogue. You may address the board. There's one person here, so we should.
Would you like a motion
do
for the
minutes.
minutes?
I was gonna say,
No. Any public comments?
I will make a motion to approve those meeting minutes
sorry,
for
jumping
June
the agenda.
25th, 2025.
And I'll support.
Thank you, thank you.
Tenza,
yes,
Theobald,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hamner,
Yes.
Solomon, Pesha, Johnson, Swiger,
yes.
Schichtel,
Yes.
Warner.
Yes.
In the attempt to expedite this meeting for an hour, I really tried to push through this. I apologize for that. So section 4, public comment, I already went through that. If we have any public comments today, I think we already got a no. Okay. That brings us to section 5, review of old action items. A is the well update in the LDFA area for Jeff.
Yep, I'll take all these items in the review of action items, if you don't mind. The well update, we're still coordinating with Pearson's to get those wells pulled. As you know, all the homes, the 3 homes we had in the LDFA area are now on city water or demolished. The one home's demolished, so we're pulling those wells, and I was hoping to have this more on that, but we're just coordinating with them, and when they have time, they'll pull those wells. Pearson's will. So that's that one. Update on completion of well survey. Well survey is done. We're rehabbing the wells. My guys actually rehabbed one well to see what it took, and today they're out there doing a whole bunch more. So it wasn't that much work on the one they did. So hopefully we'll have that all done, this week. They're as you know, they do double duty at the wastewater plant and LDFA. So we're fitting in LDFA stuff and wastewater stuff as we can and plugging along. So some of the stuff might take a little longer, but they are doing it. The survey's done, and now we're doing the rehab. Update on the well flow project S1 and 2. I was just writing a letter to Catherine. I had yesterday, Catherine Neild, our EPA contact. I sent her some information last night. She sent me some this morning. I was actually, right before the meeting, writing a letter back to her for providing more information for her on that. I don't think it's going to be a big deal on the S1, S2 flow project going through the carbon. They just want to have it all documented. We did find out that the tank, our carbon tank, can take up to 150 gallons per minute, and when you add up all the wells we want to put through that tank, it is exactly 150 gallons per minute. Right now it's 91 gallons per minute that we're going through that carbon, so it isn't over the design like I thought. And so we will, hopefully that will move forward. And I think Brian will have some stuff to say about that in the, when he talks about maybe a pilot project. But we can do this in such a way that if we do go forward with a pilot project, it'd make it extremely easy to do that study if the board wants to do a study later on. Update on the initial bylaw review. I did get the review back from the lawyer. We met, we made changes to the bylaws, or suggestions. We didn't change anything, we made suggestions, sent it out to a lawyer to have them lawyer it up. They did send it back. I would like to bring that committee back together and review what the lawyer did before we bring it back to the board as a whole. I guess I'm looking for some action on that, since I do have that back, that we can get together and that initial committee could review the changes, see if there's anything else they want before we bring it back to the board. So,
All right, thank you.
that's all of that.
Any questions or comments for Jeff on any of those 4 issues from the board?
In lieu of getting the committee, can we just send those out to the board just for review?
You guys tell me. I can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I have no issue.
Yeah. Just send-
Okay, I will send them back out. There was some comments we had made, and the lawyer had responded like, why do this, and so I didn't know if the board want to, that committee get back together and say, this is why we want to do that or not. But I can send them out. It's no problem.
I think the front-loaded work has already been done, so I don't see a need to reconvene.
We don't need to, but if we need to, I'm sure the committee, subcommittee would get together.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Let's
start
leave
with
it at that.
First step and see what people have to say, and
I will send the red line copy out that has all the changes on it, and then I'll make a clean copy and send that one out too. That way, you can see the changes we made to the stuff. And actually, if I send out the correct one, I'll have the comments on it, so you guys can read what the lawyer has said about, why change this? This is why we didn't change that. This is needed because it's part of statute. All
Yeah,
that.
if we can prioritize that for our end of it in August, I think that'd be really important.
Okay, I'll send it out probably today or early tomorrow. So,
anything else? All right, thank you, Jeff.
yep, no problem.
All right, section 6, elect our yearly board positions per our bylaws for the chairman and both, I should say, vice chair. So let's start with the chairman, if we have any nominations for the chair for this year.
I'll nominate you, Matt, for chair.
I will support.
Theobald?
Before we vote.
Right, there might be other nominations.
Oh, I'm sorry, sorry. It's
There
a
might be other
habit.
people want to vote for, and if you don't know the list.
I think Matt is asking for volunteers.
I want to do this right.
Please.
Is there anyone else? who'd like to
Anyone.
nominate someone?
I guess Caitlin wants to move it along too.
Sorry, guys.
All right, I was going to nominate Brian, but I won't do that.
Please, thank you.
Okay, so proceed, Caitlin. Thank you.
Okay, yep. Theobald?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Hamner?
Yes.
Solomon? Pesha? Johnson? Swiger?
Yes.
Schichtel?
Yes.
Warner?
Yes.
Tenza?
Yes.
All right, and then now for the vice chairman, do we have any nominations?
I would like to nominate Brian for vice chair.
Okay. Do we have a second for that?
I'll support
nomination?
that.
Okay. And then any other nominations for vice chair? Once, twice. All right, Caitlin.
Okay. Brown?
Yes.
Hamner?
Yes.
Solomon? Pesha? Johnson? Swiger?
Yes.
Schichtel?
Yes.
Warner?
Yes.
Tenza?
Yes.
Theobald?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I think in the last 8 months, this board has been amazing. I just like to special thank you to you, Bill, for
Well,
the financial
it-
stuff. It's been
Should
amazing.
we, Mr. Chair, officially do the treasurer and secretary, or is that not
For the
necessary?
bylaws, I don't think it's necessary, but
Nope.
if you guys disagree with that,
Yeah.
what do
And
you?
I would just encourage an open process if somebody
Would you
else
like to-
would
Oh.
slot into treasurer. I'm not saying I won't do it, I've just assumed for transparency, have an open process
Love
on
the
that.
idea of being transparent. Is there any other nominations for treasurer that would like to be involved? assume you're already on board, right? Or do we have to legitimately, do we have a nomination?
I would nominate Bill.
All right.
I'll
Second
second.
that. I'll second that. And any other nominations for treasurer? All right, Caitlin, I guess we'll do a vote.
Okay, Hamner,
Yes.
Solomon, Pesha, Johnson, Swiger,
Yes.
Schichtel,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Tenza,
Yes.
Theobald,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
So, Secretary Caitlin, you've been doing an amazing job. I think, and we don't even vote on that. You're doing awesome with the meeting minutes. So is there anything else we need to vote on to meet our bylaws? I believe that covers it. All right, section 7, groundwater treatment plant operations quarterly report. Jeff wanted to do it again this month so that I could move that out a month for the whole calendar year. So thank you, Jeff.
Correct, and it's really just a rehash of last month's with updated numbers. But again, as Matt said, I'd like to move this to be quarterly from July, every 3 months. That way, I'll have a quarter's worth of data when we actually meet. So, again, the budget, we have 284,000 in the last budget, 800. I would like to point out this utilities. We had some talk on the utilities, 180,000. 4 years ago at the, 3 years ago at the groundwater treatment plant, we were running both towers and the transfer pump. We had about a $4,000 a month bill there. Last year, halfway through the year, actually July now, we actually went down to one tower, did not have the transfer pump. Last year's annual power bill at the groundwater treatment plant, for the groundwater treatment plant, was $3,000 a year. This year, since it's only being run with the one tower, we're down to about $2,000 a month now. So it went from $4,000 to $2,000. So we're saving about $48,000 a year. So this $180,000 here, we could actually reduce, once we have it proven, down to 48,000 less than that 180. So that's just a savings that we did in-house by changing some of our operations. We're still meeting all our parameters, still all of the NPDS permits, all the state and federal permits are being met, and we've saved about $50,000 just by switching a little bit, taking the tower offline and not having a transfer pump, and that's all due to how clean the water is coming in. How clean we've done it for years and years, so we don't need all that extra. In the operations, this has been updated to today. So far we've treated 24.28 billion gallons of water since we've started. This year we've treated 379.6 million gallons as of the end of June of this year. So, and then influent VOCs concentrations are still between 17 and 14. I did change this number approximately. Last month we only had 41 pounds was treated. Now we're at 49 pounds. So that extra month we got another 8 pounds out of the groundwater. And as I always like to keep this on the VOC concentrations, since the inception in 1996, we only had 1 month that we violated our, we had a detection that went out of the plant that was above detection limits. So VOCs, we were averaging about 15.5 parts per billion, parts per billion on the VOC concentration coming into the plant. As you can see, way back in the day, we were about 650, 670 coming in, and now that groundwater coming in, the VOC is down to the 15.5. On the pounds of VOCs, again, our first year, I don't have it here, but our first year in '97, we removed 4,581 pounds. Total since we've started, the total since 1996, we removed 36,500 pounds of VOCs. And in this last year, since the beginning of January, we've removed 49.1 pounds. So I like to make that comparison, the 4,581 pounds the first year, and right now we're on track to do 100 pounds this year. So there's a lot less contamination in that water that we're still pumping the same amount of water, we're still treating the same amount of water. There's just a lot less contaminants in the water. So we're doing I don't want to toot our own horns, but the LDFA is doing a phenomenal job of cleaning up this groundwater. And that's just to get us back on track to do the correct quarterly reports. So any questions, I'm glad to answer them.
So when you report the 15 parts per billion of VOCs, there's a number of different VOCs like trichlor, tetrachlor. There's probably about 5 or 6, and that is an aggregate of all 5 or
That's
6.
all of them, yes, and like you said, there's some that are 8, and a couple are 2, and so when you add it up, it's that 15.5. Way back in the day, that was, I'll have to get you that number, but I seem to remember that number being like a 50 or a 60 back in the day,
And
the
if
aggregate.
I look at the data correctly, it looks like on many of the wells and on many of the individual VOCs, we're getting close to that number of below criteria. We're getting close to it meets health quality standards,
Correct.
and that's a good thing. I
Yep.
mean, we've got more work to do, but we've gone from 1,000 parts per billion to 17.
Right.
And I think we talked getting that last 5% is as tough as getting the 90%. Or in football sports analogy, that last yard, Mr. Tenza.
I think it's the whole, when if you first dip your net into the barrel of fish, there's a whole bunch of fish, and
Yeah.
when you get to the last fish, you gotta chase it around because it's got a lot of room to run. So
Thank you, Jeff, for that non-sports analogy. That's a good analogy.
it's fishing. That's
Fishing is a great thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got work to do, but I think we should toot our horn a bit.
Jeff, was anything ever scheduled for the public for the groundwater treatment plant? And if it has, I apologize, I just don't recall.
no, nothing yet. We do want to schedule something out there. We just haven't yet.
Okay.
So we will have the public come on, take a look. I think, we're trying to coordinate that maybe with water, wastewater, maybe DPW, do more of a citywide kind of, meet the fleet, meet the people cleaning up the wastewater, meet the water, all the stuff. So it's,
Thank you.
the city really, the city and the LDFA being part of the city there, we're doing so many good things out there that the public just needs to, I think, come out and see and hopefully appreciate what there is being done. But a lot of it is LDFA. We're unsung. There's a lot of contamination that we've taken out of the environment that we operate so smoothly a lot of times that nobody notices us. So, which I guess is good. So.
No more sports analogies, we move on. Okay. Section 8, update on progress of Geosyntech Environmental Consulting, Environmental Optimization Services.
I want to touch back to the something Brian said earlier about the wells almost being cleaned. On our last optimization report we had from our last consultant, they were saying that we could probably start shutting down wells in 2026, I think it was. So hopefully Geotech will have the same same results. I don't see why they wouldn't. As far as what we're doing with them, I owe them some more information. It's on my plate. I haven't gotten them everything they needed, and I will. I promise you, by the time we come back next time, they will have everything on their plate. It's on my desk right now, and I'm the cog in the machine currently because just I have so much to do, but that's a me issue. It will be done by next time, so I don't have much of an update on them currently. So
this?
If you want to go to the Fleece and Vanderbrink, I just sent Molly, our consultant with Fleece and Vanderbrink, another, some signed, copies of some, well, it's for the QUAP. They need certain things signed in there. And she had found that there was one that wasn't signed. She sent it to me. We're sending it on again. They're still working on it, and we're still holding on the testing of stuff until the well survey, which is done, and the well rehab, which we're doing, is done. And once that's done, then they'll be able to start going forward with a lot of the stuff, the monitoring plans, and actually getting the quarterly monitoring done. So that's the two well rehab and this one kind of go hand in hand. So once we get that well rehab done, this one should break loose, and we should have a lot of stuff happening all at once. So.
So Jeff, what's your sense of timing? When can we start testing?
Well, I've blown all sense of timing over
I know.
over the months.
So you're not making any more predictions?
No. Talking to my staff this morning, they seem to think they could knock out a lot of them relatively quickly. So I would assume we have a few. We have one that was paved over that we have to find. We have two that are buried in a gravel parking lot that we have to find. Those will be the tough ones. The other ones are just, a bent cover, a bent pipe, but, they should be relatively easy. So I'd say, we should have 90% of the wells we need recovered within a week, and then the other 3 or 4 we're really going to have to work at, and hopefully we'll have them done by the next meeting, that we'll have those done. I know they're coming. We're going to saw cut the one that's buried in asphalt, and hopefully we find that one really quick and get that one up and running. So
we could start sampling perhaps before the snow flies?
oh God, yes, that is definitely
Careful.
my
I've
thing.
seen it snow until September, so. But
So have I.
that would be a good target, I think, September.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I appreciate your urgency, Jeff. Out of all of them, that's probably the most important thing we got on our plate right now.
oh yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Just to be.
And just to reassure the committee, I'm talking to the EPA, I'm talking to our consultants, I don't go a week without getting something from them that they need this or need that. So it is moving forward. They are not, like the EPA, I don't get the sense that they're concerned about us at all. They know we're working forward. They know that we're, I talk to Catherine every 2 weeks. We have a regularly scheduled meeting. We didn't talk this week. She canceled on me, but every 2 weeks we talk, and she tells me what they want, and I get it done for them. So it is moving forward. It's just a lot of small stuff. So.
All right, thank you. That brings us to section 10, Treasurer's Report for Bill.
The only thing I would think modify, because these are, so people realize, the subject says May financial report, it should say July. It's as of today. If you recall, we did a 2-month snapshot last month since we missed a month. So we have systematically caught up. So just for the purpose of the minutes, that subject line should say July financial report. It's a year-end snapshot. I'm going to not put any time into this. I'll defer to Mr. Owen Roberts. But I think the summation points to the year-end. It's a good snapshot, but pending audit, pending finalization of a number of things, it's just a good snapshot. I think going forward, now we have a budget, we're going to have monthly or maybe quarterly review, and we'll isolate on that income and expenses when necessary. So that's all I have, because until we complete the audit, or that part of the audit is completed, it is what it is.
Hey, Bill, the $38.90 for contractual service to Maverick for water connections, that second bullet item down for the spending during the month,
Yeah,
was that in the LDFA?
good question, Mike.
I
believe so.
Yes, that was.
Okay.
That was the 3 homes that were, needed to be, put on city water, or they needed to be, disconnected from city
Okay.
water. So that's what that is.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
Yep.
Mike?
That's a good catch.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh,
and thank you, Jeff.
oh.
I'd just like to say thank you for sending all this information prior to the meeting so we can look at this.
Yeah, it's
I really
helpful.
appreciate that, Jeff.
Yep.
And
And, but, you know, the calendar, the meeting minutes, the agenda, it really is, it's nice to be prepared and you don't have to fumble through all this stuff real time, so it's
The-
nice.
The treasurer's report went out late because we didn't have it on, at the time I sent the other stuff out. But hopefully, we'll send out everything at one time. But if we don't worry, it's coming to you. You'll get it before the meeting if we have it. It's just, I send it out when we can, so.
Beautiful process, thank you.
Jeff, I did have, Julie, did you have?
No.
I did have a question. We have kind of the standing open question about, there's the 400K that's in the LDFA, it's a Cadillac Renewables resource, but I believe it is in the umbrella of the LDFA. Owen is not here to ask that. Oh, Owen, there you are. Sorry. Forgive me, Owen. What can you tell us, if anything?
It's a long walk for a short answer because I just wanted to be behind the microphone so they could hear on the recording, but they haven't got back to me yet. So I did another request this morning, so we're still just trying to research the paperwork to make sure that the process is handled appropriately. So
And who's they?
the legal,
Legal.
yep. So sent another request this morning, so we should hopefully make some progress on that. So
Is
sorry.
that Foster Swift?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Owen.
Yep.
And one more issue for the budget, there's just an opportunity that we've been talking about, consumer rates for kilowatts. Now that we
Yep.
have a steady load, maybe, I know we have a lot of things on our plate right now, but maybe in the next 5 or 6 months, we could look at trying to get a reduced cost, being we have so much knowledge.
Yep.
with,
That's why I brought up earlier in my presentation about the saving of the $2,000 a year. We've got a full year's worth of data now that, without that tower running. So it is definitely $2,000 a year. So the spikes and stuff that they've probably seen in the past is not there because we do not have a transfer pump kicking on and off. And was one of the things that was really driving up our price, was this transfer pump kicking on and off. So I do believe now that we have years worth of data, we should be able to go back to them and say, we don't have this demand that you have placed on us because that pump's not running, so.
So I'll just keep that action on the back burner for now, because it's something,
Yep.
you got a lot going on. All right, thank you.
Oh,
Have we made a plan for when we're gonna start, lack about a better word, charging the LDFA members for, to get that income coming in to close down the LDFA?
we've made I guess a plan to make a plan. We need to go out and talk to our manufacturers and re-educate a lot of the businesses. Back in the day, everybody was kind of local and we knew everybody, and this all LDFA was formed. And since we stopped doing the special assessment, a lot of ownership has changed. And so they don't have that historic knowledge of what we have done in the past. So our plan is to go out and talk to these people at various meetings and say, hey, we used to do this, we're going to need to do this again. We don't know at what level, but we have to start it up and familiarize the people with that. So it's not just a letter you get in the mail that, oh, you owe this amount of money and they don't know why. We want to go out, re-educate, re-familiarize the people with it, and then at that point, then we'll actually start talking about numbers and budgets and what we need.
Any idea on a time frame? Cause I know we've talked about this before.
So I think the next
So-
line item, there's a CAMA update, so I think we could probably shed a little bit more light on that, because there's a meeting coming up, and I think that very topic is what we're gonna discuss in the next line item. So
Sounds good.
can we just?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, section 11, Cadillac Area Manufacturers Association, the September 9th meeting.
Yep.
I believe Brian and Jeff wanted
We-
to talk a little bit about that.
We have been reached out by CAMA, Cadillac Area Manufacturers Association. They'd like an update on the LDFA, what we're doing, what's happening. I don't know. I'm assuming the board will be okay with me going and maybe a board member going and talking to CAMA about what's happening. But that would be a great place to start mentioning that, you know, we haven't had a special assessment for years, and now we have to start collecting again. At some point, we have we have regular operation, and then we're gonna have closeout at some point in the future, and we need to start preparing for that.
I'm also on that CAMA board for the county, and I think a good person to go would be Owen, just because of the whole financial, and I know he's probably giving me a look, but I think that would be helpful, so if they do have questions, he's right there to answer that.
Yeah, I would echo that, because it's been 13 years since the assessment, you know, and that number was around 217, 218. So, and you're 100% correct, ownership changes, management changes. There are a number of properties that have never been assessed. They don't even know it exists. Upon acquisition, they would have been briefed on it, but they haven't seen it. So I think you need to be very strategic, very, very thorough. Anytime you're gonna go back and you can legally assess, there's no issue there. Just, we better have the right people doing the right communication.
And I do believe, I don't know, I don't know how much we have to assess, or if you just get an assessment out there so
Understood.
people start getting used to that. As we know right now, we have no income coming in, and we're floating off of our reserves. And anything that we have coming in would offset that, you know, that we're not taking so much out of the reserves. So, you know, they could come in and do a lot lower amount just to get people, hey, remember this? We don't know how much we need. We do have wells that are going to be shut down, or when the Syntec, hopefully we have wells that'll shut down. You know, we might not need the assessment we needed before because of things we are doing. So, you know, yeah, we just need to re-familiarize the people with it, so.
I think you got to be careful though, Jeff, because if you go out to industry and say, hey, this is out there, the first question will be, how much? Well, we don't really know. We don't know. I mean, to go out with like partial information is almost as bad as no information.
That's true.
I think you need to go out and say, this is what it was last time in 2017 or whatever. This is what give them a number of expectation and when, because like the city, every one of these businesses are doing annual budgets and that type of thing. So
We realize it'd have to be a year or two out, you know, that once it's.
even that though, like a year or two, you go out, try to be specific as you can.
I don't know what
Yeah.
Owen or Marcus would make the final call,
Yeah.
when it goes, but when we go out, it'd be, okay, it's 2 years.
Yep,
You know,
2
you got 2
years,
years to
this
budget,
amount,
you know,
yeah.
and then we're gonna start collecting. But,
Yep.
yeah, we realize that. I speak in generalities here
Okay,
because of, you know, we're just talking about, when we go out, we'll have a more definite, plan and more definite dates and numbers, you know. I do believe it, no, I shouldn't say that. It could be the exact same as what we had before because prices are more expensive. I don't believe it'll be more than what we collected before. It could possibly even be a lot less but with the price increase
Yeah.
since 2012 of stuff, you know, it could be
Is
the
there-
same.
Is there a type of meeting room at the wastewater treatment plant? 'Cause
Not at the wastewater treatment plant. At the water plant, we have a meeting room. So,
maybe it would be advantageous to have a CAMA meeting there. I mean, I'm sure Doug would be open to discuss, you know, something like that, so.
yeah, we
maybe
can.
that
I
could
don't
be
know if he's already
beneficial and
got.
more of the target of the CAMA meeting.
I don't know if he has it scheduled at a location already for September 9th, but we definitely could, or any
But
future
even
meetings.
August or October,
Yep.
so.
Do you have, like, I know you're talking broadly and generally, and Owen's back in the corner, but I think it would be, I agree with everything that was said. It'd be really a mistake not to go with factual information. Because these people are already like tentatively leaving Cadillac, packing up their, I mean, they don't have to be here. So I
Right.
do think it's like,
A
for the
concern.
health of our community, we better be really thoughtful and not, if they're requesting a meeting, I'm sure there's a reason. Probably because it's been in the news a lot. So even if that's going to that meeting to say, what questions do you have, we'll follow up. We'd like to know more about what you need from us. And until you have all of those answers, because I just,
I agree.
to be fair to them,
Not
I-
just a concise plan, but I think we need to work on relationships with those that are on the CAMA board, because to my knowledge, I guess I don't know how much the city and the board has been involved with CAMA the last 13 years, but I don't wanna be the person that we have very little relationship unless we want something, and then we're starting to go to the CAMA meeting. So I would like to develop a quality relationship with the board, not just when we need something.
And
And so I think that needs to start. I don't think we've had a lot of involvement, but again, I don't have that history to know that.
And I do believe there's two, I think there's CAMA and I think there's KEG. So there's two Cadillac Industrial Association Group, I think, KEG. I think that's what it stands
The,
for.
the list of assessed companies
Yeah.
is a subset of the larger industrial community, correct? I mean, we're not talking about that many industries.
Well, all properties in there were assessed. So there's homeowner, well, no, we cut out the homeowners, but all property owners were assessed in there, whether you're the large ones or the small ones. You
But
had property.
understanding it's a tiered process also, so to Jennifer's point, there is a lot to educate and to do it thoroughly and the right people, because it isn't complex, but if I haven't seen an invoice in 13 years and I'm Beneteau that has 12 properties that were previously assessed, that's significant.
Oh, yeah, it is. And that's why like I said, we have a plan to go out and talk to these people. You know, we'll have the more definite message when we go out. We'll have a more firm message when we go out that this is what, you know, what it was and what we hope to do in the future. And this is, you know, what the process is and how much we need to assess, you know. So we will have a more firm message when we go out.
Approach is we might just, for the sake of time, we might have to have a subcommittee meeting to make sure our ducks in a row, to make sure all the entire board agrees with what we're presenting and that we're
Right.
moving forward. So we can get there.
And
Probably
I,
can't solve it in this
I
meeting.
certainly want to echo the comments from Matt and Mike and Jen about caution, and we really need to be strategic about how we communicate with the community. And the fact that the economic and is, along with economic, the health of our community, these jobs provide health insurance, and I respect that.
Again, and
But a relationship, it should be, there's two sides to a relationship. I think we need to approach this with a bit of a expectation that of the value that the LDFA has brought the community. This is a EPA Superfund site. This is a serious subject. EPA normally steps into a community and they just issue assessments. They just issue costs to not liable parties, but potentially liable parties. And the LDFA has, I think, provided a really important service to the manufacturing community. And it's a two-way relationship. The respect, I think, should be offered and given on both sides.
I agree. And again, that's why I brought up, we've done such a tremendously good job here at the LDFA, at the cleanup, right? And that is from money that was collected in the past from all these properties. And you know, we can say the LDFA to the businesses that contributed this money actually did all this work. You know, we're their contractor. You know, we the LDFA board did this for them. We collected this money and we did this cleanup for them. And we've been doing it for 30 years. So our businesses are really responsible for this cleanup. They really did a great job. They've funded us, and we've used that money to help the community really well. And it's a positive. It's a great thing they've done for us. So
The great challenge that we have is that there's been such a gap, and there's, like Bill said, there's managers of these companies that are not aware.
Nope.
And that's a big information gap to cover, and we need to be careful about how we do it.
But I mean, I think we've got to applaud them for what they've done, or their property, the people that owned them did in the past. That everything they've done has made what we do possible. So it's a positive. We've really done a great job in the environment, and they're certainly the starting point for us doing this great job is them contributing with the special assessment.
So next steps, is that a subcommittee, Matt, or?
I think, obviously getting the quarterly testing done and get that going is the most important thing. But we do need to establish a subcommittee on this to make sure, and it's gonna have to be heavily led by the city, but we want the board to be involved on what is being presented and that the board agrees with that. So yeah, it might not happen in the next month, but in the next 2 months, we definitely need to have a subcommittee meeting. If you guys feel okay with that, or we
Well,
can do that
it has to be done before September 9th,
before September.
which is not 2 months. So it has to be done next month.
July.
I mean, the other option, Jen and
It's
Mike,
fine. So I'm-
Jen and Mike, let me throw out another option. The other option is to say, thank you very much. Can we defer? We really would like to engage. It's important. We really appreciate your invite. But we need to sort through what we need to know and what we need to communicate.
I mean, I also think generally ask them, what are you interested, so we're prepared for a meeting, what are you generally interested in understanding about the LDFA, the history,
Mhm.
because there are some new people, like to better understand what the purpose of the meeting is, like.
I don't know if
It's a fair
CAMA
ask.
covers all the bases either. I mean, none of the manufacturers that I'm with belong to CAMA or go to that kind of thing. So I think it's a bit broader than just saying if we hit CAMA, we hit everything.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
We need to,
It's quite
we need to look at that.
an effort.
It
mean-
might be a good time to get into the meeting and maybe not address this at this point, but at least go so we're not going only when we want something, or
How often do they meet, Julie?
it's kind of sporadic. It may be once a month, and then all of a sudden it may be 3 months, 4 months.
There's no regular
Goes
schedule?
to a rabbit hole. I wouldn't go to a CAMA meeting, it hasn't been, it doesn't represent my business or the businesses that I've been involved with in the manufacturing.
Where would you go, Mike?
I don't have an answer. I just say CAMA wouldn't cover all the bases. CAG would cover some, CAMA, but, I don't know how, I think it's bigger than just, if we did it with CAMA, that should be everything. I don't know how we do that.
And Mike wouldn't be Cadillac Industrial Fund related, but as a source of information, again, if there's going to be a community outreach, it really has to envelop.
It can't be hard to understand who would be impacted, right? Like it's in the
We-
assessed
We already
area.
know.
So like, why couldn't we host a meeting when we are prepared and say, we will be offering an invitation
That's to
to
me,
all.
You go through the
impacted
list of affected
parties.
companies and say, this is,
Yeah.
we're
We'll
gonna
do
hold a
that.
meeting.
Well, and there could be orphan sites now.
There's the list.
The other thing too.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to push the calendar out there for a couple months.
No,
but
I just,
I've
like,
got a
makes me
medical
nervous,
procedure
yeah.
on September 9th, and I know I can't really help, so I was trying to like.
Yeah, no, I get it, just,
Losing
I'm,
track of time, so.
So it's, I guess, a question of whether we even attend. And is this the right first step to make with industry? When we don't know if it, there's only a few, maybe a handful that would be represented by this list.
I guess if we had that list of affected companies or properties, and then maybe reversed it and sent that out to the properties and said, listen, we're gonna hold a couple information sessions.
Okay.
We'd welcome your input and strongly encourage you to show up because this does affect you.
And Mr. Owen provided this to me, and I
Okay.
think Oh,
And maybe a
and-
goal of first
It'd be nice if the
quarter
rest
of
of us had
next
that.
year or something, so we have some time to transition.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I wouldn't wanna go too early.
September just scares me. I personally can't.
Yeah.
get ready.
Well, and they need to be at least one budget cycle out too.
Right,
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's been socialized a bit already that, you know, this assessment is around there and there's things going on with the LDFA, but yeah, I don't know if CAMA's been real proactive in it. CAG certainly hasn't, you know, it's awareness really, but I think if we're gonna go out and give some detail and some facts, we probably need to do it in a pretty organized way, having some numbers, having some dates, having some specifics.
and we benefit, Mike. You're literally probably the manufacturer leader in this community, in my view. You've worn a lot of hats, and so we're blessed that at least you're with us on this.
Yeah, and you got Ackwell too now on it too, so.
Yeah.
But you're right though, they're the tier ones, like Group Beneto's a tier one, they're
A dozen properties,
big, that's a big number for them and they're, you know, they've,
never seen it.
But I'm hoping we can come in with a rate that's much less, and that's what Jeff was trying to
Yeah,
talk about.
yeah,
So-
exactly.
So maybe a goal to have some subcommittees, so we're prepared by first quarter of calendar next year.
That's
So we
fair.
can present something that's organized and detailed, with the blessing of the city, of course,
Yeah.
and, yes.
Well, I was just wondering, the CAMA meeting, do you want anybody to go to just to say what the treatment was, what we've done historically treatment-wise, and gather questions from them? And just say there's really no, you know, or just not even attend at all, decline politely? I mean, because we can go and do the treatment part, and this is what we've treated, this is what we do, this is that, and just leave it at that.
I think Brian had the operative word defer.
Defer.
Willingness, let's get our communication piece in substantive detail as we do these gatherings. I would leave to your professional opinion whether you need to attend.
I'm
would
gonna
think-
do what the board directs.
I would think you do the same thing as if you're gonna have an open house at the water treatment plant, or the LDFA water treatment. That would be a time to, you know, that's the only thing I would go into CAM and say, hey, we're gonna do this open house, you know, encourage you to show up, maybe a bit about what the LDFA is, what they're doing. But I don't think we're in a position to kind of give any guidance right now of what it looks like as far as assessment or when.
That's why I said just the groundwater treatment, what we
Yeah,
treat,
hey,
or
this
just
is us, this is what we do.
defer and say we're having something in the spring, late winter, early spring that we'll invite everybody to, and you're more than welcome to come then, or we'll invite the affected parties at that point, or.
Yeah, and by that time, if we do have a subcommittee on this, we can at least get some more specifics
What do
on
we
what.
truly need
Yeah.
to stay afloat, so that the industry is not as affected, very,
Yeah.
as little as possible.
So I guess we'll reach out to CAM and just tell them we'll do a meeting later on, and you know, if they wanna attend, they'll be more than welcome to.
When you say we, is that Brian, because he's talking to Ken, or is that myself, or is that you?
That would be Brian.
I will reach out and politely defer. But I want to make sure I get the right message and say,
Oh, we
There'll
wanna
be-
talk.
but
Well,
we do want to talk, but we just don't have our ducks in a row as far as information that we want to provide. And our first step, we want to lead with confidence when we have that communication. And I don't know if we want to lead with assessments. We want to lead with, here's what we're doing. And
Oh,
then,
I
I
think,
also think lead with being inclusive.
yeah,
Just talking to Cam and you're leaving out half the list, and I find out you're working with Cam and I'm on the list, and I'm
right.
now absent of information that might impact me. Like, that's not a great way to start a relationship either.
I
I
think we
think-
work with the people on the list.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in CAM or
Right.
CAG or not in
Right.
either, it's the
But that can
people
be
on the
part of your
list.
communication.
Right.
It's important for us
You'll
to
lead
have
with the
that.
good news first, but we have the potential of closing
Yeah,
shallow wells.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, I agree, Jen. I mean, finding out, if you're on this list and we're finding out, we're reaching out to industry and the people on the list haven't been talked to first, well, gee, why didn't they come to me?
Right.
The list is knowable. It's not in the dark vault
No.
that we
Oh,
need a
yeah.
combination. It's right, Owen's got it. Tier 1 is a significant number. I mean, and it's a small group, and we need to be mindful. want to field that question myself. This is a board decision and not mine.
Section 7, PFAS pilot study, S1 and S2. Brian, do you want to briefly elaborate on that?
So for the pilot study, there's so much we don't know, but what I do know is I think we've agreed. I've talked to Jeff, and we've talked to 3 different companies about the concept. I think the best approach would be to look at the ground that the LDFA, the city manages at the treatment site, the wells S1, S2, they're both above federal criteria for PFAS. So that really simplifies it if we work on our own ground and we don't have to. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think we need to start with this pilot study. There's some grants out there, and we do believe we can get the grant for the pilot study.
Yes.
Is that correct? I think we need to lead with that first.
Well,
Right.
there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
So if we get the grant, then we would do the pilot study, obviously. Or if the board just wanted to do the pilot study, but this is dependent on the grant first, as my knowledge right now is if we get the grant, then we can do this pilot study. And this pilot study would see if we could remove PFAS from the groundwater. I don't know if PFAS will be added to our NPDS in the future. We do have a couple wells that are hotter wells. Obviously, when they all mix together, they go out to clam at or below this new federal criteria. But if we had to do treatment, maybe we could just treat the high wells and not do a whole plant treatment system, which could be cheaper. And so this is just a study to see if it's feasible, if we get the grant, if it's put in our NPDS permit that we have to do this, we'd have a solution that we've already tested and it's already approved, or the state says, yep, it works, you can do that in the future. So this is, I think we need to start off with it's grant related, and if we get the grant, then obviously we would do it. If we didn't get the grant, then that would be a board decision whether we did the pilot study or not. So I wanted to get that out right away because
Sure.
we do have money issues currently, and so we want to make sure we keep that above board, that this is why we're doing it. I don't know if like I said, currently it's not in our NPDS permit. Currently it's not in our ROD for cleanup, but I could see in the future where it could be in either one of those, and at that point we would have to do some kind of treatment. So this is just getting prepared
How much
ahead
is
of
the
time.
grant?
Ryan, did you want to discuss like dollar details, or you not a good time?
Well, no, I'm happy to. Jen, did you have?
Yeah, same question. How much?
So, what we don't, there's tons we don't know. As far as dollars, just some initial feedback. I mean, pilot studies are more expensive. They're fairly expensive than just putting in a piece of equipment, operating it for 20 years, because you got mobilization, demobilization all in a brief window. In a pilot study, you want to collect a lot of data. So you got a lot of cost for data. So to answer your question, the feedback I've got, this is just feedback, there's no specific scope of work, but you're talking 75 to 150,000 in that range, that scale. It's a lot of money. To get to an answer, and then there's the question of,
Is that just for the study? If that would, so let's say we get the grant, we do the study, and the study proves it to be effective. Does the grant take the equipment and walk, and now or is the equipment a part of the gift of the grant, or the infrastructure of the grant?
good question.
Or
Well,
is
in the
that-
proposal that one of my ideas for the proposal would, we'd ask for okay, what if we did a 2-month study? And then, okay, so what if that really worked and we really liked it and we wanted to say, keep your equipment here, what does that look like? So I think the initial discussion with Eagle and Director Ruse was to pay for the pilot, but I don't see any reason why if we really liked it, and I don't know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We don't have to do this, so that'd be a big ask, but if we really liked it, I don't see why we couldn't ask for a grant for just to leave it. And that would be one thing I would propose. What if we did it 20,000 gallons a day? What if we did 80,000 gallons a day? And then what if this really is the greatest thing and we decide to buy it? What does that number look like? And then the pilot would, of course, involve the process of actual destruction. I mean, it would not be a theoretical process. It would be influent coming in and the effluent going out. And what does the system do? And the goal would be to demonstrate that we can detect PFAS at 1 part per trillion or less. I see those analytical results out there, and then prove it for a full list of PFAS chemicals. To get to that point, the other question we have to ask is, do we need a permit? And we'll need EPA's blessing. To get to that point, Eagle is asked, well, sounds good, Brian, great. We don't think you need a permit, but we need to know what you're doing. So to get to that, they need to see something they need to see a proposal in writing from, I think we're entertaining 3 companies right now, Jeff. And so we would ask for a proposal from the 3 companies based on a common scope of work that I've got to, we don't have that in writing yet. We don't really have exactly what we want. So I guess the ask I have from our LDFA is knowing all those uncertainties, is it worth our time? Could we prepare a subcommittee to prepare a proposal scope of work, get the proposals in, and then the next step would be to ask Eagle, is there grant money available for this concept? Here it is in writing. And are there permit requirements? If so, what process do we need to go through to get this approved?
Sorry, I'm asking all these questions, but
The-
what is the comparable cost to that pilot system of cleanup to what we currently are operating, which is effectively cleaning the water below federal state regulations for PFAS? What would be the sustainability cost on that? You know what I'm saying?
Using the carbon like.
Yeah.
Oh, carbon?
Yeah.
S1, S2, potentially.
That would be part of I think that would be a good question to ask the pilot. What would be the comparable cost? In my judgment, from my view, one of the reasons I asked for this type of destruction technology is based on my homework. It's significantly less than carbon. And carbon has its pros. I mean, the pros of carbon is it's a multi-pollutant.
Mm-hmm.
It'll capture hexavalent chrome. It'll capture other pollutants. But for PFAS, you're taking it and then, okay, you captured it. Now you gotta recycle it or take it to a landfill. And in my view, destroying it, cutting to the chase, destroying it on site and not shipping it off site is a better option. And as far as cost, from my initial homework, Jen, it's about half the capital cost and much less O&M. But that's a great question to confirm or deny in this pilot. And I mean, it'd be somewhat subjective. I mean, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
The other one is currently our treatment carbon can handle 150 gallons. They can handle I-5 and the 2 other wells. That if we had something out in the system, or if we wanted to do a whole system treatment, we'd have to buy new equipment to come in for that. The carbon can't handle it that we have. So we're limited currently with what the infrastructure we have on site. If we want to go out to a well and do something, these companies make mobile units that you could go out to a well. I don't know if there's a mobile carbon canister that can go out to these wells or anything like that. So it's just something, our treatment currently, we're just repurposing something that we currently have. So the price is a little lower. But if we went beyond that scope, it'd be a lot more because we don't have that equipment currently.
So that would be, that's a good point, Jen. I mean, that would be one of the questions I would ask is, like, the pilot's going to cost more because it's a mobilization, demobilization, lots of testing. But going forward, what does this technology do? Effectiveness, what would your cost be going forward if we wanted to implement this at a larger scale. For example, one of our well with the highest PFAS content is I-11 at about 12 parts per trillion, and that's a 171 gallon per minute well. So if we really wanted to go above and beyond, way beyond what Eagle and EPA is requiring us and get to non-detect, if that's really what we wanted to do, you'd control, that's roughly 250,000 gallons a day. And so that would be a great question based, if we did this and we learned the nuts and bolts of how this works, before we went and spent and controlled 250,000 gallons a day, what are our other options? And I think, you know, rather than relying on me or anyone, you know, we have a great team of engineers, Geosyntec, and if we get down this road, that would be a question for companies like Geosyntec or Prine and Newhoff, because I know all of these companies have some involvement in designing and PFAS treatment. So this would be just introducing another option into the mix in addition to the traditional additional treatment, which is, I mean, there's a lot of different technologies, but carbon is the most common one. But yeah, I'd ask, going forward long term, is this a good long-term technology to look at?
Do we know if it works, or is this part of the pilot to see if it works as planned?
Mike, the data I've seen, yeah,
It does work.
yeah, it works on long chain, it works on short chain, and every time I talk to one of these companies, a year ago, they were talking, you know, a lot more money now, that every time I talk to them and they get this technology out and deployed, it seems like the cost goes down. And you
Order of magnitude.
you've seen that in any new technology. The more it's deployed, the lower the cost, the more confident they have. So that's why I'm kind of enthusiastic about, let's see what we can learn. If it doesn't break our bank, we got to be careful.
We're just at the stage of looking for quotes then to see what this would cost.
Developing a scope of work so we can ask the three that we've talked to, or maybe we want to add a fourth. You know, they all get asked the same thing, and then we get a unified answer, and then we take that to Eagle. Can we get some money for this? Does this need a permit? I think the first question is, do we get some cost sharing? Nope. You know, if we don't get cost sharing, what's the point of going through a permit approval process if we're not assured of that? So it is the one step at a time approach, but I'm asking for concurrence that we that we have more than just myself and Jeff, that we work on a scope of work, that it's a common scope of work. It's one document. So I'm sorry to belabor this issue much.
It wouldn't replace the carbon. It'd be in addition to the carbon that we're using to scrub the water, right, that targets the PFAS?
Correct.
So the way it's been explained to me is the new system would allow the carbon to last a lot longer because it's taking out so much. And Nate, you're shaking your head, so you obviously know more about this than I do.
It would fall before the carbon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
got you.
In fact, when we
The
do,
savings in
Yeah.
carbon.
Okay.
when we do the S1, S2, when we do the combining, if the EPA allows us to go into the carbon with that, we'd actually put valves and ports on that line so we could hook up a mobile system and unhook it, and no matter what happened, it'd always go through the carbon. It'd go through the treatment process, then the carbon, and then it'd go to air stripping, or if they took the treatment system out because it didn't work, it'd go through the carbon and then into the air stripper. So it'd be a little bit of money for a couple valves, but we'd
Right.
put those valves in just to make it so you could use it either or.
I think another option could be, we could prove it. You know, the reason we're looking at S1 and S2 is because it's on our ground and it's simple. But if the work is already being done by the carbon, you know, there's 6 wells that have got I think about 6 of our wells that are above criteria. We could go through the process of taking this technology and taking care of those. So we'd get double and triple benefit. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it has to stay just because we proved it here, because it's simple because it's our ground. We'd have to leave it at that location. Ideally, if we got a grant to cover I-11, that would be like maybe perhaps the ideal world, and you'd have to get permission from the landowner, but it's a one step at a time approach, and we know a lot about carbon, but not much about this. But anyway, thank you for hearing me out.
Appreciate the brainstorming on this. If we can proceed. Another brainstorming topic, section 8, air quality questions as far as the 3 things below. I don't know, Brian, do you want to touch base on this as far as mass balance, the misters and air toxicity study, or Jeff, do you want to do?
Yeah, we had some questions on, it relates to PFAS, but it's more than that. But what is the air stripping towers doing to the PFAS? And is it getting out in the environment? I do not believe it is through the air stripping towers. So the question is, you know, if the questions are out there in the public, how do we relieve their fears? And you know, we can do a mass balance of what's going into the air strippers, what's coming out. If we did PFAS testing on both sides, we could say, yeah, no, nothing's being taken out. We can go in and look at the process itself. I think we have misters actually built in that keeps the mist from actually leaving the air tower, so only thing that's leaving is the air. There's some worry that the droplets of water might be carrying PFAS out of the towers. And then the other one is they actually have an air toxicity study, you know. And so I guess I'm bringing it forward. We've heard some questions on this. You know, and Brian can flesh it out if he wants, but does the committee want us to do some study on it? Do they want us to get more information? Are we worried about the PFAS getting airborne? Again, I want to go back. Our mission is VOCs and hexavalent chrome. That's our mission. So now we're trying just to, you know, alleviate anybody's fear. And some of this is I haven't heard the talk about the VOCs being stripped off and going in the air. I haven't heard the main topic I hear is the PFAS. It's not something that we're currently regulated on, but we can do stuff. Mass balance is probably the simplest. It'd just be some tests of PFAS going in, the level going in, PFAS coming out. If it's the same, then it's not getting stripped off, obviously, in the air towers. Demisters would be simple if we go and we say, hey, this is how this tower is designed. It has demisters on it. It's not, no water droplets are getting out. I've been on top of those in all kinds of weather. Well, beside the air towers, not on top of them. And I never see anything or feel anything when I'm up there. And then the last one would actually be a cost, which would be an actual air toxicity study where you'd actually prove that the PFAS wasn't in the air effluent of the stripping tower. So, Brian, did I hit it pretty well, or is there more?
Covered that pretty well. I mean, it's a tough question to ask. I mean, I think, in my view, the strippers are doing a great job of taking care of the VOCs. We're not getting any VOC air deposition. It's destroying the VOCs. But the question has come up, and the question has come up from Eagle from time to time, is like, especially like on sites where there's an air stripper and there's a lot of PFAS in the groundwater, thousands apart. I know in those cases, Eagle has a specific air toxic study. And Mike, you've probably gone down these roads of, for air quality permits, Eagle will often ask for an air toxic modeling study, and there's an air toxics modeling study specifically for PFAS. PFAS doesn't get volatilized. I think it's going, staying with the water and moving out our NPDES permit. But the question is asked is, in the process of pushing the water through the air stripper, is some of it leaving in the air and depositing around the area? And there's an Eagle model that would assess that risk. It needs a lot of data. There's other ways to assess that risk, like mass balance, that we could go down. I think it's a fair question. I don't have an answer. I don't really have a recommendation. There's a number of ways you can do it. I would recommend asking Jeff to look in those options. What are their costs, and how confident, if we did go down that road, how confident would we be in the answer? I mean, the ultimate method of assessing risk is to do the study, and I don't know how much that would cost. It's not super expensive, but that would be part of the questions that I would ask Jeff is, how do we reasonably communicate to the public that PFAS is not being dispersed in the air at these low levels of 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts coming into the system? My experience as an environmental person says, no, it's not an issue. I would just say to the board and Jeff, I don't want to rely on my experience on this. I'd look to a more independent, thorough review than to answer this question than my experience.
Does the manufacturer of that equipment have any?
It's a great
Data?
question. It's a great question. I think one of the questions we ask is, if there is a risk, these systems it's all about misting. How much water pellets do you throw up in the air? And that would be a great question to ask the manufacturer. Is there really any plausible way that this is creating mist? I don't know the answer to that.
The other one I would ask is, if we test the water before going into the mister and afterwards, does it measure the same for PFAS quantity?
That's a mass balance.
Yeah,
Is it? Okay.
And now keep in mind, you're dealing with parts per trillion, but we have a system, that would be one way to approach the question.
Again, those tests, they do cost money. So, I mean, whatever we do, seeing the design and if there's demisters in there, I think would be the no cost option. If there's, there's demisters, no mist can get out, and we take the manufacturer's word for that, then that's the most frugal way to do that. And then other than that, everything would cost some kind of money for us to do.
Understanding the cost is long-term.
The next
before
step.
we get next step, right? So,
Right.
so something we can work on.
Okay.
It's
I think
That's-
it's just
was that
something we want
something
to
you
bring
can-
up to the board's attention, that there are questions out there. And again, it's nothing currently in our permits. It could be in our permits. We do, just in case anybody on the board did not know, April, we'll have to put in our new permit for our NPDS permit, April of '26, and in October of '26, the new permit should go into effect. So, we could have, a year from now, we could have a PFAS limit.
So Jeff, you get back to us with some preliminary information on
If
that?
that's what you want, I will get back to you.
I mean, just talk to the manufacturer.
Yep.
Talk to our consultant, can a mass balance study really effectively answer this question? I mean, that would kind of cut to the chase if we tested and found out that we had 1 ounce of PFAS coming into the system, and as it gets past the VOC strippers, it's 1 pound being discharged, or 1/100th of a pound.
Yep, it would.
It's one way to look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next section is public comments for the second time. So this is a session with no open dialogue. You can address the board with your comments, and you're allowed 3 minutes.
Hello, Art Stevens. It'll be fast. This being kind of your year end, just very impressive what you guys have accomplished as a board this past year. You go back a year ago and some of the hurdles and some of the questions and uncertainties, and you've put it all together, and appreciate your time and your commitment. I know you have a lot of you, it's been extra time, but I think productivity very much so. It's been a positive. So thank you for your time. I know sometimes you don't always get that when people come into the public comment to say that, and I know your commitment. And I know, Brian, it's funny, I'm half thinking he says he's gonna go on a vacation. He's figured out where he's gonna do research for this community and then tell his wife, hey, we got this great vacation spot. Oh, but while I'm there, I'm gonna go do some checking. But those kind of commitments, exciting to see on the pilot, the PFAS pilot. Couple things. Number one, sometimes that grant money on the beginning end, and I think Herring Township saw that when they got some PFAS grants when there wasn't as many people requesting them as now there's more requests going out. That kind of innovation, it would be really cool to see, from what I've studied, to see it come back where Michigan, some of that starting process, and if Cadillac was part of that in the LDFA for bringing that kind of innovative solution would be really impressive. So thank you very much for all of your time. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, next section is the committee's response to public comments. I don't have anything to say. Does anybody have anything?
Thank you, Matt, for being willing to take on the chair going forward. It's
We have an amazing team, so
it's not an easy job.
excited for the next year. And thank you, Jeff, for taking on all these actions. With our help.
Yeah, with your help. If I may, on a number of the committee response to public comments and committee comments, can we combine those in the future to one line item? Because
I'm okay with that.
sometimes I was talking to Caitlin, and she says sometimes it gets confusing whether you're in public comments or responding to the public comments. So if we could combine as one.
Bylaws discussion, I think that was one of the recommendations, so I would wanna know what legal had to say on it when you send those notes back out, but I think
Okay.
we did talk about doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we address the public's concerns in some way, shape, or form.
We could just
each
put-
have an opportunity, whether we want to or not.
We can do committee comment and public response, something in just one, so she was just mentioning it to me, so I wanna help my staff out, so.
Wait for legal's approval on that, is that what you're saying?
I think we did exactly what you suggested and just said committee comments, if I remember right.
Excellent.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
So that brings us to committee comments. I personally don't have anything. Does anyone have anything to share?
No, I just have a question for Brian.
Yeah.
The proposal you're talking about with the pilot?
Yeah.
Is there a deadline for that, or is it
No.
kinda just open?
It's kind of open-ended. I
Okay.
mean, these companies, like, when you talk to them, they're like, oh, heck yeah, we're happy to talk to you.
But it's not like a named grant through Eagle, it would just be a go to Eagle to ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't have, like with the water extension, there's like, I know there's like, it's a small disadvantaged community grant that came through the Inflation Reduction Act that survived the current administration's pullback. I know where that grant money is.
Okay,
On this question,
you know,
I don't.
I was just curious, this time.
But there's no assigned, but I think it would come from the general amount of money the state has assigned to
Right.
MPART. What I'd like to see the state do is, I think they should have a collaboratory, like a lot of states, where there's a partnership with universities, industry, state. Many states have pilot study research collaboratories where they cooperate with universities, and we don't have one, but we'll ask, and I hope not to involve a whole lot of all of our time on this. You know, if there's really no grant money, if that answer is no, well then, this is a simple decision. I don't think we have the interest to go forward if the state doesn't want to partner with us, but no. So right now, I mean, 50-50 shot, Jen, I think.
Good,
I've been wrong.
better than 40-60.
Better than, yes, ma'am. So yeah, that's my official odds bet for grants. I've been wrong more than right on grants.
Okay. Anyone else? Julie?
So in transparency, I would like to let my fellow board members know, I was contacted by a state trooper regarding Open Meetings Act, closed session, and one of the questions he asked me was about things in closed session. And I just want to make you aware, I told him I would have to talk to our county legal first. And per our county legal, even though he's an officer of the law, because it is closed session, without a warrant or a court order, you still do not disclose that. So, I of course done as the attorney suggested and told that officer that that's what I would be required before I could discuss it any further. But again, in transparency, I wanted to let you guys know that has happened.
Anything else? All right. Date and time for the next meeting. We really don't have to do this on our agenda anymore now that Jeff put together a yearly schedule for the third Wednesday of every month. And in our meeting packet, there is a list. Yes, Jeff?
I think you'll
Do we
have to
need a-
adopt that.
Still
Do we need a motion to adopt this new schedule? Cause if we do, I'd make that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Can we get that, can you send out the year's worth of minutes electronic, or meeting requests electronically?
Oh, electronic calendar invites?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can do that on like a Google Calendar or Microsoft where
Yeah,
it
just the
comes
whole
in
year,
there.
send them out
Yep,
electronically.
I will.
Including the informational meetings? Would be awesome.
I do those separate though. I think the informational separate, but because I'll have a recurring meeting for third Wednesday of every month at 10:30.
Perfect.
So the next meeting is August 20th. So
That would be the third Thursday
we,
or
Make
Wednesday.
that motion.
all right, do we need to have a vote to approve it, or we just?
Yep.
All right, Caitlin, can you help us?
You have support?
We gotta get support first.
Please.
Support.
Solomon, Pesha, Johnson, Swiger,
Yes.
Schichtel,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Tenza,
Yes.
Theobald,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hamner.
Yes.
All right, support to adjourn is all set. Hour and 20 minutes. Doing better. All right, guys, thank you,
No.
Jeff. Brainstorming.
I don't have to close the doors anymore.
Julie, what's your time?